I wanted to come to you all and talk to you in a very, very intimate way, so to speak. A lot of people that know me, or a lot of people that have known me for a while, have known me or have known me at different points in times in my life. They wonder, why did I become vegan? Well, let me start off by saying that I never intended on becoming vegan. It was never in my plan. I never thought I was gonna be one. I mean, I can remember when it finally hit me, when I finally realized that I was vegan. I was in my freezer throwing away hundreds of dollars worth of meat because I loved meat. I mean, I remember throwing away about two racks of lamb that cost like 20 something dollars a piece. I remember throwing away packages of salmon steaks from Whole Foods. They were all frostbitten by this time. I couldn't even give them away because I was in denial that I was becoming a vegan. And so, threw away ribs, chicken, shrimp, crab legs, any type of meat you can think of. It was in my freezer and I threw it away. I had to throw it away with frostbite because I didn't think that that was the path that was happening, that I was embarking on. But it was. So what happened was I've never truly been a big meat eater. You know, I had all those meats in my refrigerator. Yeah. So let me be real. Let me be honest with you guys. Like let me stop fronting. Let me just be for real right now, okay? On the truth. Like seriously, why I became vegan. Because it wasn't the path that I chose. It was more like a path that chose me. So I was struggling with depression. And depression is something that I had always struggled with. And my father, I remember I would call my dad up and I would tell him, like, Daddy, these are some of the things that are going through my head. These are some of the things that I want to do to myself, to other people. Sometimes I don't want to get out the bed. And my dad was just like, well, have you ever considered not eating red meat? And also, my father would also prescribe, I guess, my father would also tell me, don't eat red meats when it's your time of the month for your cycle, because I was going through hell. My menstrual cycles were awful. The pain was through the roof. It was excruciating. I wouldn't even mess around with a little bottle of Motrin. Okay, I would go to Walmart and buy the big boy, the big one, because I knew that about every 4 to 5 hours I needed about 8 Motrin, maybe 10, maybe 11, maybe 12, whatever the pain was, whatever the pain level was. If I had to work, that made it worse. And I remember being a freshman in college and my roommate, she had to take me to the emergency room. And I remember I passed out in the bathroom in the hospital, in the emergency room, on the floor. I couldn't take it. The pain was just excruciating. And nobody believed me that the pain was that unbearable until no one believed me that my pain was that bad until I went into labor with my daughter. And the nurses kept coming, running back in the room, and they were just coming back in there to check on me, and they were asking me, are you okay? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. And they're just like, well, we're watching your contractions on the monitor, and they look so intense on the monitor as in comparison to the other mothers that are screaming out for pain medicine, but you haven't called for anything. And I'm just like sitting there like, I'm good, I've had periods worse than this pain. And I was in labor. And I think that was the moment that my mom was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I always thought that you were just being dramatic. And I'm like, no, who's got time for that type of drama? That was real pain. Yeah. Your girl was in a world of trouble and didn't even realize it. So, as time goes on, I end up going to nursing school. And I was always, before I got into nursing school, like anybody who is a nurse, that it's almost like an initiation, because that crap is almost unreal. The way that they take you from your A&P, Chem, and your bio and your micro questions to the way they ask the questions in nursing school. It's just like, almost like, you can't sit with us. You can't. Unless you do it like this. But, either way, I was really, 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 really a science lover, a science geek, and still am. But when I went on to nursing school, that, the curriculum, it stressed me out. And I remember my anatomy and physiology instructor, Mr. Godwin, God bless him. I pray I run into him sometime soon. But Mr. Godwin, when he would post the grades on the board, he would always post, however many A's, however many B's, C's, D's, and F's were made in the class. And I was the type of student where if he posted only one person in the class made an A, I would just be like, dang, nobody else in the class made an A then. Only me. Because that's how I was. I had this desire to understand things. I have just had this desire to know more and more about different sciences. Especially anatomy and physiology. That was my favorite. But so, he came to me one day and he told me, he was like, call me by my name. And he was just like, you are going to have trouble when you get over there in that nursing program. And I was just like, why would I have trouble? I'm like one of the best students in this class. And he was right. So when I got over there to that nursing program, to the you can't sit with us initiation, I ended up just really dealing with a lot of pressure. So by this time, this was the first time in my life that anybody had ever recommended to me to get on some type of medication, some type of some type of psych drug. So the drug that my physician put me on was Xanax, and that was to calm the anxiety and the panic that was going on, especially when it came time to take these exams. And so then, of course, it's never, anytime you're trying to do something to further your life and better your life, it's never just that cut and dry, right? It's never just like, I'm going to go do this. No. It's always, if something can go wrong, it will kind of type business. In nursing school, for me, I had so many changes in my personal life that were going on. And I couldn't find my balance. You know, I was trying to find my balance, but I just couldn't find it for some reason. And so I was on Xanax. And then come to find out when it's close to graduation, over half the class was on Xanax. And over half the class that was on Xanax had started it in nursing school. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is no joke. Like nursing is no joke. So anyway, life goes on. I become a nurse, and thank God that I am, right? So as life goes on, things continue to happen. And I'm still having trouble with finding my balance. Only now, my doctor doesn't want to give me Xanax anymore. Now he wants to switch me to something else. So now he's switching me around, and now not only does he want to put me on another anti-anxiety, he chose Klonopin. Now he wants to put me on an antidepressant, Wellbutrin. So my weight is all over the place. I'm eating all types of crazy things. And I'm on an anti-anxiety and an antidepressant. So I start thinking back to my happy moments in life. And even one of my happiest moments in life was when I was in nursing school. And I was fasting with Truon. And I remember that during that time I was extremely happy. My skin looked extremely clear. My body looked very toned. And I was not taking any psych meds. And I had to remember, I went back to that time and I was just like, it was the diet that I was consuming, or it was the fact that I was grounding myself spiritually in who I am spiritually. And so I was thinking, you know what? It's got to be a combination of food and spirit that was allowing me to elevate myself. Because even during that time, when I was fasting that way, doing the Daniel fast, I wasn't experiencing, though I didn't have an awful menstrual cycle either. So, fast forward, I'm skipping a lot because things will come out later. More will be revealed with time. But when I was in my relationship with my karmic, this last one, I ended up in a very depressed state. I feel like I was feeling like everything that I did was wrong. Everything about me was wrong. And I ended up so depressed, so sad, so out of my mind. And it was obvious to my mom and my aunt. But I didn't think that anybody could really tell, the people in my family. Now, the people that I was around the majority of the time, of course, they were looking at me like, oh my God, that is crazy. Like, she's nuts. Because I was just not nurturing myself, not loving myself. And I was completely consumed and absorbed by my relationship and by my work. I was working a lot of jobs, and then I also was working a job where I was being robbed of my individuality, and I was being talked down to. I was being spoken to in a way that I wouldn't speak to a dog. And I was, instead of transmuting all these things into love, I was internalizing everything. I was internalizing everything. Hence, I was drowning. I was drowning in a lake of fiery emotions. And so my mom and my aunt and a pastor from Chicago, they all came together. His name is Pastor Godfrey. He has a wonderful ministry, and he was there for me and my family through a lot of different changes that we went through. But they wanted to fast and pray. And at that time, I'm just like, I don't want to fast and pray. What? No, I don't want to. Leave me alone about it. I'm not fasting. I just went to the liquor store. I just went to the ABC store. I just got me some 20 grand, and I ain't fasting. I just got me some pineapple Ciroc. No. Nope. They just had the peach and the cherry Ciroc down here. I'm not. Nope. I'm not fasting. Nope. Just got me a fresh pack of DeJean Blacks. I'm not doing it. I know what I want to do. I'm good. And then I would just go to Taco Bell. I would go to Wendy's, and I would just oh my gosh, like, I would go to Wendy's and get me a burger. It need to be a double stack with everything extra on it, all extra veggies, extra mayonnaise. Give me my mayonnaise. And then I'll go to Bojangles. I'm getting me the big fry. Don't give me them little fries. I want the big fry with my burger. Okay? And then also, I'm going to Taco Bell. I need me a taco, and I need me them little, what are them little cinnamon things? Yeah, them cinnamon twists. I need 2 of them because one little baggie ain't enough. And I would go home and put on Netflix and smoke my little blacks, drink my alcohol, and eat. I could just throw up just thinking about that life right now. That was not. Thank you, God, I'm not about that life no more. But my mom, my aunt, and Pastor Godfrey, they wanted to pray with me, and they wanted to pray for me because I was spiraling, and the only person that wasn't admitting that I was spiraling was me. I was the only person that wasn't admitting that I was spiraling. I was the only person that wouldn't admit that I needed help. And so as this fast was going on, it was only a week, and we fasted from 12 midnight to 12 p.m., no food, and then we would come together in prayer over the phone every night. And so as this fast was going on, I started to realize that I was changing, and I didn't want to change. And I realized that I was starting to see my karmic in a whole different light. And I was starting to see myself in a whole different light. And so by the end of that fast, I was so happy for it to be over with. I loved my mother differently. It was an unconditional love that my mother offered me, because during this fast, I snapped on my mom. Like, I was just like, you don't love me, and you don't want me to ever find love. You don't want me to ever be in love, have love. You don't care about me and my life, and my love, and my desires. And as I'm flipping out, my mom is just sitting there like, you know, just absorbing it. And I was just waiting on her to just snap on me so we can have like this fallout throwdown type of argument. And she never goes there with me. And so I was left there to weigh all that out that I had said to my mom. And I felt this burden just like I could just breathe. And I realized that what my mom was offering me at that time was unconditional love. And through that unconditional love, I was able to drop the idea that I had to be anything other than what I am. Because I feel that the whole time I was fighting who I am, the whole time, the reason for the depression, the reason for the anxiety, throughout the course of my life, I was fighting against me the whole time. It was never about anybody else the whole time. It was always, always about me. And so by the end of that 7 days, I still wanted to smoke. I still wanted to drink, but the meat, I wasn't able to consume it the way I did. And I remember trying to eat it. And I was at the nurse's station and I was trying to eat my lunch. It was chicken legs, 2 chicken legs that I had baked, and some brown rice, because I never really did the white stuff. I hadn't done that in a while. And I want to say it was some squash. And I was eating my squash and my rice. And I just was eating around the chicken. I was like, why am I eating around the chicken? So I picked the chicken up and I bit it. And it was just like the meat was just becoming a ball of muscle in my mouth. And I had to spit it out. I was gagging. And so I ended up letting go of all that. I ended up trying to eat meat again. But this time I said, well, I guess I'm just done with chicken now. I did away with pork when I was in middle school. Now it's time to do away with chicken. And I had already done away with beef. I had stopped eating beef. And so I was like, now I'm just going to be a pescatarian. I'm going to eat seafood. And so went to my aunt's house for our little girls' retreat. Everybody else was putting their food on the grill. I had bought myself some salmon steaks. And I remember eating that. And that used to be my favorite piece of meat. And as I was eating it, I was ready to throw up. But I didn't want anybody to know that I was going through these changes and these challenges with eating meat. I didn't want anyone to know. So I suffered through it and I just ate it. And so then after that, I just went to my mom and I was just like, Mom, I don't think I can eat meat anymore. And so then I'm still going through all these spiritual changes, meeting people that are helping me meet people. And so I was introduced to Dr. Myles Munroes via YouTube. And through meeting Dr. Myles Munroes, I learned a lot of wonderful concepts. And I ended up finding out about Dr. Sebi, which that's a crazy story on how I ended up finding out about Dr. Sebi. And I realized through listening to Dr. Sebi that I had work-related depression as well. that was related to seeing people die around me all the time, and related to seeing people obtain diagnoses and never being able to supersede them and overcome them. And they either their disease process ended up being exacerbated by something, or and they die, or they just stay like that. They never make any progress. And I started realizing that um, a lot of the medications that they were taking, it never made any of the difference that they claim that it makes. And then I hear about this Dr. Sebi, who says that there are no incurable diseases, and that there's a plant for everything. There's an herb for everything. And I'm just, oh my gosh, the one true doctor. So then my veganism went from this level to just not eating meat and not eating dairy to Dr. Sebi vegan, alkaline vegan, and understanding alkalinity. And that was one of the best things that could have ever happened to me, to find out about Dr. Sebi. Because when I found out about Dr. Sebi, it transformed my idea of healthcare. And it transformed my idea of being a nurse. Because as a nurse, my oath is to help put patients in the best environment possible for them to heal themselves. So I made all these plans to go to Honduras to meet Dr. Sebi, the one true doctor. And I'm going to meet him, and he's going to teach me, and he's going to understand me, because I'm a healer. Different story, different day, but because I'm a healer. And he died August 6th. I will never, ever, ever forget that. Because that was the day that my faith was shaken to the core. Since I have been vegan, since I have been spiritually elevated, since I have found out who I am in this world, what I am. His death shook me to my core, my very being. And it's something that a lot of people could not understand, except for one. There was one person in my life. There was one person that God sent to my life that understood the pain and the reason that it hurt the way it did, and didn't ridicule me for shedding tears over Dr. Sebi, a man that I had never met in physical form. But I say all that to say that I became vegan because it chose me. Because that's what God wanted me to be. Because that is part of the being that I have been fighting against all my life, clearly. And now I don't have pain. I don't take any medication. The only medication I'm taking is this CMOS. Okay? I thank God that I can hear now. I can see now. I speak my truth now. I'm aligned now. You know, life doesn't stop happening. Life does not stop happening. But finding balance is something that does take place when you decide, when you make the decision that you are going to take charge of your life. Okay, it's not about being skinny. That's what my daughter, she's just like, Mommy, you're so little. And I'm just like, baby, it is not about being little. It's not about being skinny. I don't like when people call me skinny. But it is about being healthy. It is about healing. And there are a lot of things that I damaged through all that drinking and smoking that I am healing actively now. So things take time. Things truly take time. So, and when I knew that my healing was legit was when my good girlfriend, she used to always know the difference between me on Klonopin and me not on Klonopin. And she always used to say, make sure you take your Klonopin today. I like the Nakia on Klonopin, okay? And I just remember her saying to me one day, she just lipped it to me. And I was just like, no, this is all me. This is natural. This is me. This is me. This is who I am. Meet me. Meet me for the first time in life. Meet me for the first time in life. Unmedicated, undrugged, free of smoking, free of alcohol, free of extra acid in my system. This is me. High off life me. Natural me. And she was just like, I like it. The same way she did when I started that Klonopin was the same way she did when I embraced who I am and just decided to be vegan, who I am, and stuck to my mom's advice, which is, no matter what you do, baby, always stay true to yourself. Always be true to you. Always be true to you. I find so much balance. Is my life perfect now? No! Do I love my life in every imperfect moment now? Yes, I absolutely do. So that is a bit of why and how I became vegan. I pray that my story helps to inspire you and helps to bring you out of the box. Like if you're one of those that's saying, I'm never going to be vegan, just stop saying it, because it's no point in saying never. Like Brandy said, never say never, because you never know what you will do in this lifetime. You never know what gifts will come to you from the spirit world. You never know. You never know. Honestly, take it from me, you never know. You never know. I never thought that my nursing mind would be taken out of the box of Western medicine. I never thought of anything other than Western American medicine. But now I do. Rest in Power, Baba Sebi. Rest in power, Dr. Myles Munroes. Thank you. Anyway, I pray that you guys might do a vegan challenge. Visit my website, www.theelectricleaf.com. Alright? So, vibrate, love,